working life. And then I left practice to join the corporate world. I was with MISC, Malaysian International Shipping Corporation, for about 8 years, doing under the legal department and doing industrial relations. After MISC, I joined, where was I? I joined Proton for 4 years as the head of industrial relations, and now I am with Plus since October 2018.
Oh,
All right.
still new at Plus, Mr. Carol.
Sorry?
Still new at Plus.
Quite new, about 2 years.
Yes.
So I am doing the same thing. I'm the head of industrial relations, but we call it human resource relations.
Human resource relation.
Yep.
Okay. Can I know what is the organizational structure of the HR division in your company?
Okay, basically in human resource, we are led by our Chief People Officer, CPO, and under her there are altogether 6 departments: organizational development and talent management. So that one, they manage in terms of the reporting structure, the structure of a particular department, and also managing talent. There is also workforce planning and talent acquisition that is more on manpower, recruiting new employees. Then you have the change management office. This particular department is parked under human resource, but they report direct to our managing director. So CMO is all about affecting change in the company. Then we have rewards and performance management and services. For this particular department, they do benefits, staff benefits, and your year-end appraisal, performance management, and all that. Then you have my department, human resource relations. Human resource relations, we deal with staff conduct, employment terms, and union, and also performance improvement processes. And finally, you have internal communication and employee experience. That one is basically about internal communication. Normally, when you have company activities, internal activities among staff, hari raya celebration, all those things, that will be part under this particular department, internal communication and employee experience.
All these 6 department is included in HR.
Yes, everything is under human resource, correct.
Human resource. Okay. How many employees did the company have?
More or less, I don't have the exact figure, but we have about 3,800 staff. Out of that 3,800, about 70% are frontline staff. So they are not office staff. When I say frontline staff, that would be the people manning the toll plaza, our plus ronda.
Ni all over Malaysia, Mr. Carol?
Correct. Kita cuma ada di Semenanjung.
Alright.
We don't have in Sabah, Sarawak.
Okay. The nature of business in Plus, Mr. Carol, can you share?
Nature, basically, I mean, in general, we are a highway concession, something like LPT2, Elite and all that. LPT2 and Lekas and all that. But basically, it is all about managing our expressways.
Motor expressway.
Yeah, all the highways. The highway under us would be the North-South Highway, NKVE, Elite Highway, and also LPT2, Lebuh Raya Pantai Timur 2.
Did Plus have any online business, Mr. Carol?
Online business? I don't think so. No, we don't.
You don't have.
Yeah, before that, guys, some of the questions that you have, I seriously do not know the answer to. So I will assist as much as I can with the things that I know.
Yes. Yes, you can.
Sure, no problem.
Okay.
No problem, Mr. Carol.
Okay. So no, we don't have any online business, tak ada.
Regarding for this pandemic COVID-19, Mr. Carol, Did
Yep.
Plus and transform any physical service to online or not?
Specifically, no, because okay, this is a little bit. No, how do I answer this? Yeah. All right. If you talk about our highway services, when we deal with our customers, yeah, most of our highways are already fully automated. Okay, in the sense that kalau if you go by our highway, you will either see Touch and Go, Smart Tag, or RFID, right? So the usage of human presence is minimized. Only when there is a particular issue with regards to the top-up cards or the barrier is not working or something like that, or the what do you call this? The machine is not reading the cards or whatever, then we do send our frontliners to assist. But generally, everything is done automated. All right. Even if you want to top up your cards, we have machines all over the place. You can either do it at the petrol kiosk or any of the machines. So if you ask me whether we have done anything specifically during the COVID-19 pandemic, not really. But it's just that we minimize interaction between people, between staff and the road user.
Yeah, understand.
Okay.
Okay, understand.
Yeah.
Okay, I pass to Sun.
Hello, Mr. Wang.
Yo.
Nice to meet you, and I have some questions to ask you about organization development. And can you share with us what's your company's organizational development goal?
Okay, I do not have the answer to number 7. I apologize, but I do have the answer to number 8.
Sure, you can share with us. Yeah.
Okay, so basically number 8, we have our corporate values. Yeah, it was recently, how do you say? We came up with a new corporate value earlier this year. Basically, there are 6 elements to our corporate value. Yeah, do you want me to go one by one or how?
Yeah, you can just briefly share with us.
All right, just to buy time lah. Okay, we have 6 corporate values. The first one being taking care of you. All right, taking care of you basically talks about how the company can take care or how the company takes care of its employee. All right, we emphasize a lot on safety and staff well-being. Okay. Then we have number 2, transparency and open communication. This is all about, that is the buzzword now, which is integrity. All right, that is very important in the company right now. So when you talk about transparency and open communication, we encourage our staff to be open. If you have any issues, if you see any wrongdoings or anything like that, we do provide you channel, or we encourage you to at least voice out. Okay. Then we have enterprise focus. Enterprise focus basically means working together as a team. Yeah, nobody should work in silo. Everybody needs each other to deliver. Yeah. And next, number 4, we have do things better. So do things better is all about improvement. You know, when you do something, there is a need for you to find ways to make it better. Even if you feel that that is the best way, there will be, ways for you to improve it further. So it's all about improvement and innovation. Yeah. Then we have about take pride in results. Take pride in results basically means, this is important. Basically, it means that as an employee, you should be proud of your achievement of what you do. So that basically emphasizes the needs for ownership. Yeah, when work is given to you, you must take ownership of your work. So the end result, you will be proud of it because you have given your best. And finally, committed to your growth. So committed to your growth is all about the company being very, what do you call this? We are trying to ensure or We want to see our staff develop. It's not like you start doing something 20 years down the road, that's the same thing you'll be doing. We want to see you develop, we want to see you flourish. So when it comes to, the company is very strong on the corporate values. Yeah, we are going all out this year in terms of inculcating that spirit, the 6 core values into our employees by telling them that this is not something that you do in the office. This is something that you do also at home. So it's no different whether you are at home with your family or you are at the office with your colleagues. You have to instill these 6 values or corporate values of plus. So to ensure better output that will assist you individually and which will assist the company as a whole. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Okay, I don't have the answer to number 9. Number 10 pun, I do not have any answer to that. I do not know the answer to number 10.
You already share with us, right?
Yeah, I mean, what I mentioned just now, it can relate to some of your questions, and I leave it to you guys to put in where it's appropriate lah. Okay, how does your company manage the organization? Okay, I'm sorry, I don't have the answer to that. So with regards to B, I don't have much response to number B, but I can only assist you in terms of the corporate values and how we instill it.
Okay. No problem, Mr. Khairul. Would you be able to share with us some part on recruitment and selection?
Okay, recruitment, as what I know, all right, it is quite similar to most companies. Yeah, people send in their CV. Of course, we have a minimum requirement. Yeah, in terms of your qualification, in terms of your GPA, your grade, your points. Yeah, there is.
So can I ask you, is there a preference for a certain degree?
No, not exactly. At the end of the day, the degree, it can be local, it can be overseas, but what is more important that the degree is related to the position that you are applying for. All right, that's kind of basic. Then we have the point system. For example, if you reach at least 2.8 above or something like that, yeah, your CGPA. All right, I'll just explain the process. Yeah, you guys can pick up the relevant points.
Sure.
Once a person is called in, it depends on the position. If it is just a junior position, yeah, when I say junior, normally managers and below. The interview level will be normally up to the, for example, if it's HR, the relevant head of department, until the CPO, the Chief People Officer. All right. But if it is very junior, yeah, at entry level, so it is just up to the head of department, because that is necessary, because the department head will be the boss, the ultimate boss. So that person needs to know who he or she is employing. But if the position is for middle management above, there will be 2 layers. Okay. First, be the head of departments plus the head of division. One of the C-suites are either CPO, Chief Operating Officer, Chief Commercial Officer, Chief Financial Officer, depends. If you pass that level, then you will go to the final level, which is all the C-suites. Yeah, the CPO, COO, CITO, managing director. It will be chaired by the managing director.
Okay, that means for positions who are middle manager and above, means there will be at least two interviews, right?
Yes.
Okay, understood.
But even prior to the interviews, you will be given an online assessment, because there's one question on online assessment, yeah? So there is an online assessment. If you pass that assessment, only then will you be called in for a physical interview with the head of department. So
Okay,
if you do
what,
not get through, then that's it, end of story.
so in terms of the assessment, is it something about the company background or is it general
No.
knowledge?
It is general. It has got nothing to do with plus actually. It is just
Nice.
general to see the way how you assess each situation, because the questions are time sensitive. It's not something like you have one whole day to do it and you can come back later. Once you click on the assessment button, the time starts. So after 20 seconds for each question, it will go to the next question. Whether you have time to read it or you have time to evaluate it, you better answer. So it's all about thinking on your feet.
Okay, which I think it's very relevant in the current job market to be able to think of solution immediately, right?
But then again, I guess, okay, this is my personal thought. It's not plus, okay? This is my personal thought. Because sometimes these things can be, it doesn't reflect the staff capability. Because some of the questions, like I said, it's more pressure-based. But in real situation, it's not that. It's not as critical as that. And generally, sometimes you lose good potential staff just because that person doesn't pass the exam.
Yes.
So it's a two-way
There's
point
two way
there.
about it. I mean, depending on who's the head of recruitment.
Okay.
But then again, if there is a close, as the word for it, cukup makan. I mean, they just pass or just fail the what do you call this? Just fail the assessment test. The head of department can consider to call him if the qualification is strong.
Agree with you, Mr. Carol, because government also have exam, right? Then
Correct.
I also agree with you that sometimes the potential employee tak dapat, can fail
Correct.
the
Because,
exam.
because sometimes you will see the true potential when you have a one-to-one examination.
Yes.
A one-to-one interview. Sorry.
Correct. Agree, sir.
All right.
Sir, have you been directly involved? Because you will also be involved in recruitment, right? So, based on that, can you share some good experience or bad experience? What we shouldn't do next time when we apply for this kind of position?
Okay, they are doing okay. I have been in a few, obviously, either as a representative of HR or I am the person employing the staff. I mean, the vacancy for my department. I guess if you want to say plus point, for me, at the end of the day, for an interviewer, again, you ask a different interviewer, they will have different requirement. But for me, I'm more realistic in nature, maybe because of my education background and also the nature of my work. Academic is important, no doubt. All right, but for me, academic is just a piece of paper. Working experience is more important, or how you think you being realistic about situation is much more important. Soft skills is also very important for me. That is one thing that is lacking. You may have 4 flat score, straight A's, but if your soft skills is 0, you can't talk, you do not know how to talk, you do not know how to be polite, you do not know how to sit properly, you do not know how to dress properly. So for me, that is a big negative. But in saying that, during an interview, if you are too overconfident, if you are too cocky, you know everything, you tahu buat, you know everything, all the time you are the boss, that is also not good. Because for you to be a good leader, you have to also be a good listener. All right, because I have come across interviews where when you ask a person, okay, what is your experience? Oh, I have been the leader of this, I've been the chairman of that, I have been the head of this. But when you ask the person, okay, let's say if suddenly you become the follower, is that okay with you? Oh, no, 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 no. My life, I must be the leader all the time. Confirm. This kind of stuff, confirm you cannot take. All right, because they are just good on paper. The word for it is they just berlakon. But in reality, they cannot handle pressure. So for me, it is all about, and if you do not know something, say you don't know. Okay? If you try to bluff your way through, trust me, the interviewer will know. Or not, they will not ask the question. Correct? And even if you do not know something, if it is something irrelevant to the department, the position you are applying for, that's not so bad. But if you are applying for example, my department IR, but when we ask them about the law or something like that, they say they don't know, they are not familiar, then for me, it's susah lah. It's going to be difficult. So
Sure.
to me, at the end of the day, academic, sorry, Yoga, I extend this a little bit because this is close to my heart. When it comes to interviewing, when you want to talk about academic excellence, that is just the first step to open the door for you to attend interview. All right. The moment you attend interview, for me, your qualification, your 4 flat or 7A or double degree or doctorate or whatever, that one already put aside. Because you have already been called in for the interview. So the moment you start the interview, you're not selling your degree, you're not selling your qualification. What are you selling? You're selling yourself. You see, when I say you're selling yourself, that is where the soft skills, you as a person, which is important. You are now the product, not your qualification. Your qualification is important only to open the door. That's it. All right. So that's my principle. That's how I look into interviews and whatnot.
Agree, sir. Totally agree, because nowadays everybody will have a piece of paper, and positions are very limited. So you need to make your way there to tell employers why you actually deserve the position.
Betul. True. Especially now when you see universities popping up everywhere. With all due respect, during my time it was just what, ITM, UM, UPM, you know, UKM, just the basic universities you are in. Now you have every open university, closed university, so many universities. So we just well, anyway, my son is there as well. My son is in health, so you have so many universities. So that's why I say soft skills is more important than academic lah, at the end of the day, to survive.
True, agree, sir.
Right.
Sir, just want to ask you, can you share if there's an onboarding process for the employee, whether there's a on-job training or formal orientation that you provide?
For PLUS, we do not, during our orientation, I'm talking about PLUS, yeah? We do have 1 week of getting to know the company period. This is where we allow the newcomers, we send them to our plazas, to our section offices, away from the HQ, away from his, place of work, to understand what the company is all about. The toll plaza, how do they work, you know, things like that. At the same time, that is about orientation in terms of understanding the company. Okay? But if you want to talk about on-the-job training, that falls under, I guess you all are also familiar with it, this thing called probation period. So you're given 3 months probation period, or up to 6 months, or depending on the circumstances. You're given, we want to see you do your work. If you are okay, then you will be confirmed. If you are not okay, then the offer is retracted. But due to the pandemic, this is where pandemic has affected our process a little bit. We do not have any more face-to-face greeting or meet and greet session. In fact, all new staff will just go through an online onboarding exercise. So they only go to the office maybe 1 day to collect their pass card, their medical card, and also to meet their head of department. That's it.
I see. Has the recruitment been froze because of the pandemic, or your hiring is still going on?
Hiring, we have stopped on the not essential position. I mean, when I say essential, non-essential, I guess it depends on the importance of that position. Normally, senior positions where they are the head of a department or head of a division, that one obviously we have to recruit. But normally at the lower level, we will just use internal mobilization instead of recruiting new staff from the outside.
Sir, has there been any issues, touching on that, has there been any issues of being overstaffed? Because during this pandemic, we know some companies have to close down, some didn't have their revenue. I really think Plus would have been affected because all of us
very
were
much.
locked down. Yeah, all
Very
of
much.
us have to be locked in our house and
Correct,
in our
correct.
state, in our district.
Dulu,
So how?
before this, when I see traffic jam, I complain. Why the highway traffic jam? Now, when I don't see traffic jam, also I complain because we need the traffic jam for you guys to pay toll for the company to survive. That is basically our main revenue. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So not only that, even our RSA is you guys call it RNR. Yeah. Even our RNR, some of the places, the business operators are not operating because there's no customer, especially those are down south towards Singapore. Before this, they were enjoying things, because you get crowd from Singapore coming over, from Johor going to Singapore. Now that the border is closed, no business. So coming to your question, we do admit there may be some excess employees in certain areas, in certain fields, but it has been the policy of our current leadership, two things. As much as possible, there will not be any retrenchment. And as much as possible, there will not be any reduction of salary.
Nice, nice.
Okay, honestly, things are really bad. I mean, from before I joined Toll, I was thinking, alah, Toll, bayar Toll, duit banyak and all that thing, all those things. But now that I am in Plus, knowing the operational cost to manage the highway, to maintain the expressway and all that, it costs a lot of money. So things are really, really, really bad. Okay, so, but as I've mentioned, we are not looking at retrenchment. We are not looking at, what do you call that, a reduction of salary. But what we try to do is to reskill the staff. Reskill meaning to say we train them to maybe be more computer literate so they can, do work in other areas or in other departments. That is a work in progress.
Nice. It's a very noble thing because human nature is, I think, we tend to use something until we squeeze everything out of it, and then once when it's not useful, we tend to put it aside. But it's very nice to hear that because the upskilling will, in fact, it will actually benefit the company. Turn around, it will actually benefit the company. And I think more importantly is people feel very they feel very loyal to the company because they know that the company stay in good and bad times with them.
True. Because
Yeah.
if you look at our frontliners, okay, before this, I guess you all normally use our highways. You will have the toll teller or the ladies or the guys in the toll booth collecting money, correct?
Yes,
But
Correct.
now with our touch and go and with our RFID, smart tag and all that, if you see now, almost, I wouldn't say almost, I think all our toll plazas will not have people in the booth. Probably they will just have one person at the side to look into problems that I mentioned earlier. So in terms of human involvement, it seems redundant, all right? But like I mentioned just now, we will find ways to make them useful, to use their skills, their ability, as opposed to just going for retrenchment, COVID or no COVID. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yep.
I think that's on my part. My friend will continue with the next part. Erda?
Okay, thank you, Yoga. Mr. Khairul, just now you said about reskilling, upskilling, yeah. Actually, in Plus, do you have your own training center?
Yes, we do. We do have our own building, our training building. Yes.
Okay. In PJ,
Yeah, the next to our main building, Persada Plus, the building next to the Subang Toll Plaza.
Oh, okay. Okay, so for training development, what is the cost plus spend on
I am sorry. Okay, that question I do not have. I don't have the answer on costing.
Okay. And then for the next question, okay, how regular Plus organize their training?
Okay, it's quite frequent. Previously, we do rely on external training and whatnot. But now, due to the pandemic, due to the fact that our revenue is affected, most of our training now are done indoors. Okay. What we do is we will call within our own people, the subject matter experts, to conduct their own online training or sharing session. All right.
Internal SME, yeah?
Internal, yes, internal SMEs. However, if you talk about, because some things you cannot avoid, you will need external expertise, external help. Then for those situations, we will call them to provide the training as much as possible online. But even if we do need them to come to have a physical training, then they can come to the training center or they can come to the office. But of course, we have to follow all the SOP requirements and whatnot, the distance and all that. And in terms of how, or every year at the beginning of the year, at the end of each year, we will issue, our training department will issue to all the heads. We will invite the heads to inform the training department what are the type of training that you require for your team members.
Oh, okay.
Let's say under me, I have about 4 or 5 staff under me. So I will determine, okay, staff A, you need this training, staff B, this training, staff C, D, different training or whatever it is. Then that information will be given to our training department. Okay, and from there they will work out the budget. All right, and from there, from the budget, I mean for the next year, then if we need a particular training, then we will apply, and the department will look, the training department will look into the budget. Did we apply for it? And if it is relevant, then of course, then we will go for the training lah.
Oh, okay. So, do you have any specific portion? Okay. How much percentage from gaji? Our.
Oh, I'm sorry, I do not know that. I don't have that response.
Okay. So, Mr. Karu, can you please share? Do Plus have training policy or specific system? I mean, okay, let's say for government, we have 56 hours. We have to comply 56 hours in a year, or like 7 days.
We don't have that. We don't have that. Because for us, training, it is more about on a needs basis. Okay. So like I said just now, it is up to the staff to apply what is relevant, what they feel is required, as opposed to having this 56-hour training requirement. But on that note, there are internal training or sharing session. Let's say if because this is correlated to some of the other questions. Let's say if one department is coming up with a new initiative, okay, or let's say if one department wants to share what they are doing, all right, the management will then decide whether such training or such sharing session is compulsory or not. Okay, so that department, let's say like my department, I want to teach about union, for example. If it is decided that this training is compulsory, then we will do an online version of the training. Yeah, we do an online version of the training, then we packed it in the training SharePoint. So all the staff will need to go through that training. If they fail to go through that training, that will affect in their year-end evaluation. That kind of scenario we do have. Okay, because the purpose of it is for you to understand what the company does, what your fellow colleagues does. But for your own personal development, for your own personal benefit, that is dependent on your boss and you putting in the request.
Okay. So it's the responsibility of the employee to request for that
To
particular
request,
training.
and also if the boss finds a particular pamphlet or brochure which is relevant to his staff or his department, then the boss will instruct the staff to go apply or something along those lines.
Okay. So during this pandemic, how the training conducted?
Online. Everything is online.
Okay.
In fact, I have 2 training next week that I'm supposed to do online.
Right. Okay. Actually, in plus, is there any policy on continuous education? You know, for example, you encourage for employee to further studies.
We do, but it is more on qualification or education that is relevant to the position, and
Okay.
obviously they will be bonded.
Bonded. Okay.
Bonded based on the value of the training.
So, is there any I mean, policy or specific number you have annually? How many employees you go to send them abroad
For
or?
training, no, we don't. I don't have the numbers, but I can tell you there's not many lah.
Oh, okay. So
It's,
only
it's
like
not a common. It's not a common thing lah. It's not a common thing.
Okay. All right. And then okay, about training abroad. Before pandemic, do you have that kind of I mean policy or any system that you can send employee
We
to?
do, like I said. I mean, we have. I mean, I have come across where some of my fellow colleagues were sent overseas to go for a training. But here again, that will be on a. You have to put in a very strong justification, because questions will be asked: why can't you do it locally when you need to go overseas? If that particular item or topic is something very specific, very special, only that person does it in wherever, United States, UK, Australia, or wherever it is, then again, the same process, you put in your application, but your justification has to be strong. And based on the limits of authority, in those particular cases, I guess the managing director, he will then decide whether it is relevant or not relevant.
Okay. Okay, just now you mentioned that staff can request for training and then the HOD can recommend. And then what are the challenges in conducting training in PLUS, in your opinion?
Okay, I guess at the end of the day is to get trainers which suits the culture of the company or the nature of work of the company, because as you know, sometimes when you have external trainers, their contents are more generic in nature. It may not be applicable to the culture that is happening in that company, in PLUS or whichever company. So I guess finding that right fit. So on this note, I am more supportive of internal trainers. Okay, because internal trainers, they know the challenges, so they know the mindset, the culture, so they can relate whatever they teach with how the people are behaving to make it gel. All right. But the problem with that cannot be applied for certain areas lah, where you need really experts outside. Then probably you have no choice but to rely on our external training provider. But one of the things that can be improved in most companies, I think, is the knowledge sharing. Because sometimes when you send people for training, they attend the training, they come back, that's it. They just keep that knowledge to themselves. or to their department. So it is good that you share it. Like for me, HR, perhaps I share it with my team, but not only my team, I share it with the whole HR community. So at least there is some return of investment there lah. Rather than you learn, you seorang pandai, you keep it to yourself, short sendiri, that's it. So that is something that needs improvement. The sharing of the knowledge.
But I think it's happened everywhere.
Yep.
Most companies, most
Yeah, even I do that sometimes. You know, I attend training, balik, then I don't share it with people because I'm too lazy. I cannot. It cannot be like that. You have to share with people.
Yeah.
Mr. Carol,
Yeah.
can you share that? Plus, prefer conduct more to technical training or general training? It's like technical is more to enhance the
It
skill.
depends. That it works both ways. It works both ways. I mean, if you talk about the operation side, for them, technical training is more important. But if you talk about service side, for example, HR, our frontliners, maybe soft skills training is more important. So it all depends.
Understand.
Okay. I think that's all for TND. Gao, can you continue?
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Wang. My part is about the career development policy. Do you have any career policy in your company? Can please describe about the career path system for staff in your company?
Okay, first of all, my apologies because item career development, I don't know much on this particular thing. But what I can tell you is that when you talk about career development, about the company identifying the performers, or people who have been earmarked or identified to lead a particular department or to be the replacement once the head retires. Those things we do have, because we do see potential or what do you call this, or good performers. They will be earmarked for better things lah in terms of their career progression.
Okay. How do you develop a career development plan?
I'm very sorry, my friend. I do not have the answer to number 33 and number 34.
Okay. Never mind. Thank you.
All right, sorry, can't help you much.
It's okay, Mr. Carol.
Understand.
Okay. I think that for the performance management, maybe in general, Mr. Carol can explain with us how use a method in appraisal for this employee.
Okay. Normally, I mean, we go by the rating base. This is applicable, I think, to most companies as well. Our performance appraisal is done twice a year: the mid appraisal and the year-end appraisal. Yeah, the mid appraisal is basically to tell you where you are. Are you on track or are you not on track? The year-end appraisal is to determine what is your score for the year. Okay, and as usual, your appraisal will be based on your KPI, your deliverables. Most individuals will be encouraged to have between 5 to 7 key KPI. All right. At the end of the year, all this is done online. Okay. But at the beginning of the year, when you do your performance planning, performance planning for the year, you are supposed to fill up a form, and you are supposed to give weightage or the importance of that particular item to your performance. Let's say if I have 5 items, I have to distribute 100% within that 5 KPI, 5 key KPIs. Okay, for example, the most important, like in my case, let's say to maintain, to ensure that all action taken follows the legal principles, for example. So that is very important. So maybe they put that at 30%. Next one, to ensure that our policies are all up to date. Maybe that one I put 20%. Then maybe as you go down, the percentage gets lower lah. All right. So that is on the percentage base. So at the end of the day, all the deliverables must total up to 100%. Okay, that's one. For each KPI, the one whether it's 30% or 20% or whatever it is, there is our stretch, there is our base, there is our threshold. Meaning to say, let's say I give you an example. If my KPI is to increase the revenue of the department. Okay, let's say I am from the operation side or commercial side. Yeah, I want to increase the revenue of the department. That is my most important function. So that I put that 30%. But then how do you determine whether that is a good 30% or a bad 30%? That is where you have your base, stretch, and threshold. Threshold meaning to say the minimum amount. At least I must find at least 10,000 profit. Base, at least 50,000. Stretch, 70,000, for example. So if I manage to find revenue up to 80,000 ringgit, then I touch stretch. So the system will calculate it and give you more points there to your 30% calculation. If you base is cukup makan, 50-50. So if you get 40%, what did I say just now? Let's say like 50,000 ringgit. So you have met the target. So you will get a medium score, a neutral score. But if you go below the passing mark, which is the threshold, we do allow a certain lower percentage, lower score. But let's say like if the threshold just now I mentioned, let's say like it's 5,000 ringgit, but my revenue is only 3,000 ringgit. Then I will get 0 point. So my 30% is 0. At the end of the day, I already lose 0 point there, 0% already. All right. So it's based on that. First, we do the weightage. Then for each weightage, you go by the deliverables, whether it touches stretch, base, or threshold.
Okay, what are the uses of the performance appraisal, Mr. Karun?
Yeah, there's a performance appraisal because once you get all the marks, okay, let's say for that 30%, because he did not touch the threshold, 0 points there.
Yeah.
So the highest he can go is 70 over 100, correct? Because already 30% gone. But for the next KPI, 20%, he managed to touch base. Right, so from 20%, since he cukup makan, he will only get 10 points there. So then we just calculate, as we go down, we calculate everything based on the percentage total. We will compare that against our pre-prepared ranking. Meaning to say, or in plus, for example, if you between 100 and 80%, you get rating 5. 80 to, for this is just example, yeah. 80 to 70%, you get rating 4. 70 to 60, you get rating 3 or something like that. Okay. Why this is important? Because your 5 rating, 4 rating, this is your final score. 5, 4, or 3, 2 or 1. That will determine whether you get bonus or you don't get bonus. That will determine in terms of our friend's question earlier, in terms of your career development. If every year you get high, you get 4 point, 4 point, 4 point, 4 point, then you will be, if there is any promotion exercise coming along, your name will be recommended. But if every year you've been getting 2 point, 2 point, 2 point, then you will not get your, what do you call this, opportunity to be promoted. And bonus, for all you know, you will not get. Because the higher your score, the higher bonus you get.
Okay. So this appraisal is more to reward program, right, Mr. Karun?
Reward, it correlates back to your reward, okay, because that will also determine your increment, your yearly increment. Okay, if you, let's say like if you get a score of 5, maybe your gaji increased by 5%, for example. Automatic 5%. So if you get 3, maybe 2%. If you get 2 points rating, no increment. So it does touch on your, as you mentioned just now, reward. But like I said, at the same time, this will also be a reflection in terms of your progression. Because we only promote, or we give opportunity for promotion to those staff who are constant performers. All right, but if every year you don't meet the target, every year your result is just cukup makan is just enough, then probably promotion will have to wait lah for you.
So can I say that the recognition implies are based on performance base?
Of course, definitely. Yeah, that's one question. Nothing to do with age, seniority. It is all performance based.
Not by seniority, Mr. Karul?
Not at all. Not at all.
Okay. Any attractive reward or benefit offered by plus to employee, Mr. Karul?
I guess our benefit is no different from other companies lah. Just the standard medical, the normal stuff lah.
Okay.
Yep.
So do you not offer free top up for Touch and Go or anything?
Tak ada. Unfortunately, tak ada.
Okay.
Okay, what are some of retainer package that the company offer to the employee to maintain talent lah in plus, Mr. Karul?
I guess it's more, it's quite difficult. When you want to talk about retainer package, if a person has already been offered by another company, I'm sure the reason why he even considers is because the offer is too good to refuse, right? So if you want to talk about whether Plus offers a counter offer retainer, I guess it all depends on whether the salary is still within our job grade. Okay, for example, if your job grade is level 4, for example, but for level 4, your salary grade, your salary band is between 5,000 ringgit to 10,000 ringgit. Okay, all right. Let's say that you are grade 4, your salary is from 5,000 to 10,000 ringgit. But you are currently working and your gaji is maybe 8,000 ringgit, for example. So the best the company can counter offer is up to 10,000. If that new company is offering 13,000, there's nothing much we can do because it's already outside that pay grade, pay scale, right? You cannot just simply give a high figure just to challenge the other company, because that will upset our whole salary system. All right. So I guess that is why one of the other ways that we are trying to do right now is not to just go everything on dollars and cents. It is all about projecting a part of our, our corporate values, like we care for you. We want to show you that the life, your life here is not all about kerja. We do take care of your well-being, in terms of your medical coverage, in terms of your cuti or whatever it is. And so these things are also important. It's not everything about dollars and cents. If you have a good boss, you don't mind staying, even if the other company is offering a bigger paycheck, because you are happy.
Yes.
Right? If you gaji banyak macam mana pun, if you have not so good boss, you will still leave. All right. So it is a balance lah. If you ask me about retainer, it's more of a package. Right?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Karul. I pass Jason.
Hello, thanks, Mr. Wang.
Yeah.
The next part is talent management. And the number one question is, how do you groom the talent in the company, and what are the talent management practices?
Okay, this one, I am sorry, again, coming from your side, I don't have the answers, but never mind, I'll try. One of the answers that I can assist, how do we groom talent? Okay, through recommendation by the heads, all right, we do identify talented employees. Okay, and all these talented employees, they will be presented, or the names and their performances. Okay, like I told you just now, the rating and all that will be presented before a committee. So the committee will then decide whether this is truly a talented staff or just an ordinary staff. If you are a talented staff, there are programs being given to you for you to, develop more. For example, sometimes you have your acceleration promotion program. Your opportunity to be promoted is faster. And also they have this mentor-mentee sort of relationship, whereby the C-suites, you understand C-suites, yeah? C-suites is basically our chief, be it chief financial officer, chief people officer, chief operation officer. They will be your mentor. So let's say if I'm a talent and my mentor, they put me under our chief financial officer. So every now and then I will have direct access to the CFO to have discussion about work, about life. So just to give them a more closer relationship with senior management, a more personalized relationship. So that's one way of grooming or making them feel recognized.
Okay. The number 2 question is, do you have individual development program? And how do you develop the plan?
I guess, okay, I'm not sure about the second part, how do you develop? But for me personally, we do have our own development program, because this will depend on the respective head. You know your staff better, all right? You know the gaps, you know what your staff needs more in terms of, for example, training on how to do a report writing or training on how to speak. So it is up to the boss to formulate a sort of a training program or education program to improve his or her staff. So this will also correlate back to our colleague, our friend's earlier question on the training. So if I see that this staff needs this training, so I will put him, or I will request budget for that sort of training for the subsequent year. All right, so that's how one way of us to do this individual development program. It is more specific to every boss lah. Okay, so we don't have a general policy on individual IDP. We don't have that. It's more catered to individual needs by the bosses.
HOD lah, depend on bosses, Mr.
Yes,
Karul.
depending on the HOD, correct.
Okay. The next question is, does your company sponsor excellent employees with other opportunities for career enrichment?
Okay, here again, we don't. Like I said, when it comes to training, we do send them overseas, but only if it is relevant and justified, and if management approves. But we don't just pick one guy, okay, since you are our star performer, we send you somewhere. No, it doesn't work that way. It's on a need basis.
Okay. Sir, can I ask you in terms of the humanware development, so how do you cooperate this hardware, software with this human in your company?
Okay, that is what is happening right now. As you know, everything is going, especially now, it's in industry 4.0 or something
4.0,
like that.
4.0, yeah, they say it's also reaching 5.0, yes.
Correct.
Yes.
4.0 tak settle, dah masuk 5.0. So
dia macam speed of iPhone.
Everything now is all about artificial intelligence. Okay. Plus is also moving towards that, as you can see from our RFID, like I mentioned just now, our toll gates and all that, is not manned by human being anymore. Same goes even at the offices. Most of our internal work, like for example, in terms of, as I mentioned just now, in terms of filling up forms and whatnot, everything is online. I mean, you want to apply for leave, or you want to apply for overtime, or you want to apply for training, everything is done online. Even to my area, like you want to file a complaint, okay, that is also being done online. It has not been launched yet, but it is going towards there. So everything, your traveling, you want to book hotel, everything is done online. So to your question, what is the development like? Yes, we are doing that. We are minimizing the use of paper. everything is done online. Almost everything is done online now. And how do we prepare for it? This is where it touches back to the training question, that we provide in-house training by our IT department. So every now and then, IT department in collaboration with the human resource training department, they will come up with the program, they will come up with the module. Okay, HR will arrange for the invitation, will arrange for the online linking and whatnot. But during the training itself, of course, we will call that person from IT to do the sharing on how to use your Teams. In fact, I think last few months, we did have one workshop on just how to use Teams meeting, you know, how to use Excel or whatever it is, anything online. We do provide the training to upskill our staff, not so much upskill. It is all about doing your work now. So if you do not know how to use the system, then you will be left behind.
Okay, so because you were saying that the development is so rapid that we are moving from to technology, to artificial intelligence now. How does actually PLUS balance between people and technology? Would people be very comfortable with technology and will end up the company downsizing staff?
That's the thing. That's the balance, the very delicate balancing that is being done by management. Since you rely everything on machines, on artificial intelligence, to an extent, you don't need people anymore, correct?
Yeah.
But the good thing about PLUS is that some of our services, or we are a service provider. All right. When you talk about being a service provider, our customers or our stakeholders are human beings.
Yeah.
People, macam the nature of our work, the toll plazas and all that, whatever it is, you still need people. All right, system will just read, okay, that guy had the top up, open the barrier, the car will go through. But what if suddenly there is a jam? What if suddenly pokok tumbang? Or what if suddenly there is an accident? Or what if suddenly there is that car user is using a faulty card? So system cannot assist all those things. You still need the human presence to be there. So this is where we balance by having our people to have that skills now, to deal with people, to pick up the phone and things like that. So it is not entirely that we are retrenching, because I told you management, two things, retrenchment and potong gaji are things that they are trying to avoid as best as possible. They will try to avoid. So you're going to answer your question, it is more that no doubt system is there, but with system comes a lot of glitches. Either the system is reading the wrong information. At the end of the day, how smart the system is, you still need a human being behind the system. Right? So that is why people are still relevant in that sense lah.
Yeah, I remember how I missed the kakak toll when I forgot to top up, and then I thought, how convenient it was for us that while they were here, and then now touch and go is on your responsibility, and sometimes you forget how much money is left in the card until it's worse than sitting for an SPM when you are towards the toll gate and not knowing whether you have enough money or not.
We do have that problem because, okay, since you guys are, we just tukar topik sedikit, because one of the things that PLUS is using now is that we don't allow top up at the toll plaza anymore. All right. When I say we don't allow top up, if your balance tak cukup baki, meaning to say if the toll is RM5 and you only have RM4.20, that one the toll plaza people can assist. But if you just want to top up, your card is zero, so you want to top up RM50, RM100, whatever, that one we don't do anymore. No doubt, previously we do provide that. I always top up at the toll booth before, But one of the reasons why we stopped doing all these things is because we want to address the issue of traffic. Because especially at the big toll plazas, you have a toll plaza, and the whole idea of having toll is a more smooth journey, faster journey.
Correct.
But when you have everybody topping up, jam dia lagi teruk. The jam gets worse. So we do encourage people to top up. And now that I'm not blaming you, Yoga. I'm just saying in general.
No, sir. No, sir. I was saying that it would have come back to the same thing. Like having a person there, it doesn't make any difference, isn't it? It defeats the purpose.
So because now even if when you want to talk about top up, the machine is everywhere now. Okay, maybe the machine may not be everywhere, but you can do it almost everywhere. 7-Eleven, petrol kiosk, it's there. So it's whether you want to do it or you don't want to do it.
True, agree.
Yeah, like some people complain, okay, if I top up at Petronas, I have to, or whatever lah, I need to pay 50 cents service fees. Alah, come on lah, 50 cents will not make you a rich person or a poor person lah, okay? So like some people, they just like to complain. I find it annoying also sometimes, but of course, customer is always right. So kita sabar je lah.
So how has this skills and automated system now has helped in terms of pandemic? So the good point of having this, how has it helped working from home? Does Plus adopt working from home during this MCO, CMCO?
Okay, during MCO, ever since in March, the moment it was announced by the government, we immediately implemented. In fact, we implemented 2 days before the announcement, working from home. Okay, however, like I mentioned just now, due to the nature of our business, not everybody can work from home.
Yes.
Our frontliners will still have to go on site, at the plaza and whatnot. But what we do is we increase in terms of the safety aspects, providing them face masks, providing them the sanitizer. And if you notice, quite recently in Sedenak, somewhere in Johor, southern side, there was one toll teller. He was found positive COVID. Immediately we closed down that particular plaza.
Yes.
We sanitized the whole place for about 6 hours, I think. We need to clean up the place before we open again to the public. So same goes. We need the people to be on site, but we take care of their safety aspect. Okay. And to your question, working from home and whatnot, those in the office, as much as possible, we encourage you to work from home. But if you need to go to the office, then you need to go to the office lah. But we give it, we allow only up to 20% population in the office. Okay, now to answer your question in terms of the system is helping with the COVID or vice versa, again, it depends on who you ask. Some department which is not too reliant on documents or just small documents which they have already parked in their common folder, or they have already parked it somewhere online. For them, that's not so much of an issue. So anything, they can just work from home, they can just open the computer, open the internet, go back to the share folder, recall whatever document they require. Correct? But there are some departments who needs huge documents. All right. So the transformation from office, from hard copy to system is still in progress. That one still requires human presence or physical presence rather than just online. The other problem is, no doubt it is CMC and whatnot, you are not encouraged to have physical contact and whatnot, but for Plus, because Plus deals a lot with government agencies, police ke, jabat tanah ke, all those things, right? Malaysian Highway Authorities. So we do deal a lot with government agencies. And unfortunately, we may have the system, but government agencies, they are not there yet. They are still using hard copies. They are not so much system based. So for our submission with them, more often than not, sometimes there still need to be physical submission of documents.
Understood,
So,
understood.
whether you like it or not, you still have to come to the office. So it depends on the nature of your work.
Okay, sir. Understood on that part. Okay. I think this is where your forte is. I think my other colleague will take over from me. Elda?
There you go. Okay. This is on staff union, Mr. Khairul. Okay. What is the role of staff union in PLUS, and how do PLUS engage with this union?
Okay, staff union. Okay, unlike us normal employees, you have your individual employment contract. You mean you can come up with your own what do you call this? You can come up with your own negotiation. All right. But for our frontliners, for our non-executive staff, they work stronger if they work as a team. Okay, strong, strength in numbers lah, you call it. So this is where the union comes in. In PLUS, we have two unions. One supervisor union. When I say supervisor, when you drive, you see all the toll plaza, correct? At each toll plaza, there will be one supervisor in charge for one shift. There will be one supervisor. So we have a union for all those supervisors. We have about, I can't remember, but it is about 1,000 plus, I guess, supervisors. Yeah. So that is one union. The other union is the workers' union. This is our support staff, office or frontline. For example, all the toll tellers, we call them CSA, Customer Service Assistants. All our toll tellers, our PLUS Ronda guys, our enforcement guys, and our non-executive guys. So they are all governed under the workers' union. So you have the supervisor union, they have the worker union. Why this is relevant to have a union, as to your question, is that the union represents everybody. How do they represent? How do they benefit? You have this thing called a collective agreement, or CA, or in bahasa perjanjian kolektif. A collective agreement basically consists of all their benefits. Their medical coverage, their cuti, allowances, uniform, insurance, everything is governed under the CA. So for PLUS, the CA is effective every 3 years. Sorry, the CA is effective for 3 years. So at the end of 3 years, we will negotiate. Management will negotiate with union for a better term. Include salary increment, salary adjustment, everything. So they are basically the voice of the people. They are the voice of the workers. So for us to deal with every single one is difficult, right? So that's why they have union representation. And if you ask me, how is my engagement with them? I do it on an open door policy basis, so they can come and see me anytime. But officially, under the collective agreement, I must see them at least 4 times a year. 1 session every quarter. Okay. This is where when we meet them, I will also call the head of department from the other unit, from the operations, from commercial. So this is where union will come and share their issues. Okay, I have this issue. Okay, what do we need to do? Okay, like this. Okay, how do we overcome this problem, that problem? So I will then pass it to the relevant department to provide the answer there and then. Those are the official 4 meetings a year as per the collective agreement. But at the same time, if suddenly something urgent comes up, something important comes up, then I can have a meeting with them anytime. In fact, I'm having a meeting with them next Thursday, both union, their exco, to discuss on some financial issues.
So you have meetings separately, with these 2 unions, or combined?
Yes. They cannot be under one roof because every masing-masing
Issues
will
are
have a different interest. Because sometimes when you talk with the CSA, the worker union, sometimes their complaint is about their supervisor.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because that is at the plaza kan, supervisor is the boss, so they are just the CSA or the plus ronda. So sometimes they might bergaduh, so they might fight. So we just do a different session for each of them.
Okay. So as you mentioned just now, they involve in revisiting the CA, Mr. Carol.
Correct.
So they participate in decision making lah, as in the question number 47 tu kan.
Hold on. Yeah, let me read the have there been any contract or the labor union to participate? No, it depends. Okay, when you want to talk about policy matters, for example, let's say the SOP for toll operation. Okay, when can you see the staff? When can you go down and entertain? When can you top up for them? You know, operation issues. At the end of the day, the decision making is done by the toll unit. Okay, but what we do is that the toll unit, through my department, will have a discussion with the representative. So they may get ideas, they may get suggestions, but at the end of the day, decision is from management. This is on operation matters. They can give input, but the decision is from them. The decision is from management. It is different when it comes to CA items.
Okay.
CA items is when, like I mentioned, salary adjustment. Okay, well, okay, just to give you understanding, let's say the next CA, the current CA ends 31st December 2020. All right, so we are supposed to negotiate, and one of the important things that they negotiate on is the salary adjustment. Okay, let's say if management agrees, if both parties agrees that salary adjustment is 5%. So for 1st January 2021, all the union members will get a salary increment of salary adjustment of 5% across the board. Doesn't matter what your rating is, that's a different story. Rating is increment. This is adjustment. So just one off for the you get, if your gaji is 1,000 ringgit, then you will get 1,005 ringgit. All right. Okay. On CA items, that one you will need their approval. So let's say they will come out, okay, we want salary adjustment 15%. Company tak ada duit, so company counter offer 3%. So then we will try to meet in the middle. If we cannot agree during a CA negotiation, if we cannot agree, this is what you call a deadlock. Okay. If it is a deadlock, what happens? You go to court. Court will decide for you. It can be anything, yeah, not just do it. Anything in the CA agreement which both parties cannot agree on, it becomes a deadlock. And once it becomes a deadlock, you will have to fight your case in court. Industrial court. Not the High Court, yeah, industrial court. So the industrial court will decide.
Okay. Alright. Okay. So I guess the operation of the union is transparent lah, kan?
Yes.
Because they know what are their salaries, yeah. They know the system, internet system.
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any non-confidential case you want to share with us on any contract disputes or claims?
Okay, in terms of, when it comes to claims, normally it will not be an issue so much, because sometimes when you talk about overtime claim, when you talk about claims, it's normally allowance and overtime lah. And why it is not paid more often than not, it is due to system issues. Okay, so you file, you just check the system, then payment will be made, but a little bit late. But if you want to talk bigger disputes, as recent as last year was the supervisors. Remember I told you 2 unions, the supervisor union During the last CA negotiation, there was a deadlock.
Oh.
Okay, it went to court, and at the end of the day, the court decided in favor of the company. So in the sense that we do give you your increment adjustment and whatnot, but at a lower amount from what the union requested. Okay, so that case is already reported, is already a public document. Because when you talk about, okay, this relates to your question just now about transparency, kan? Normally they will ask for, like I said, 10% adjustment, salary adjustment or whatever it is, and company kata tak ada duit. At that point of time, the company can be secretive. We just come out and say tak ada duit, we don't have money, right? But if the matter is brought to court, that's a different story altogether. Because the court now would want to see proof. They want to see your revenue, your collection, your debts, your liability. So when you prove that in court, only then the court will assess. Okay, yep, true, the company doesn't have money, therefore your increment is just 3%, not 15% like what you requested. Okay?
All right, understand. Okay. So in plus, let's say a staff member they suffer due to unreasonable treatment, Mr. Khairul.
Okay.
Can the union get the protection for?
Boleh. Okay. Normally, okay, that is also one of the reasons, one of the purpose why you have union, because lower ranking staff, lower level staff, they feel intimidated. Yeah, they feel like I'm just a small fish. So when I say something, nobody will listen. All right. So this is where union plays a role. They report to union, then union will come to me. All right. So if there are any issues, they will come to me, and we will try to resolve it through this thing called a grievance process. All right. A grievance process basically means if you have a problem with your boss, then we will call for a meeting between you and your boss and union and also HR. We will try to discuss it. If the problem is not resolved, maybe for after 2 weeks still not resolved, then it goes one level higher. Then we will call the boss's boss. If it doesn't resolve, also we go to the boss's boss. So it will be escalated higher until the matter is resolved.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, we do have that.
Okay. So in staff union, they can discuss anything, any matters, yeah?
Yeah, work-related matters they can.
Related matters. Okay. So
because sometimes the problem lies with a very common issue. Sometimes people in the office, they do not know what's happening on the ground. Okay, we in the office duduk dalam aircon and all that, all we do is instruct. But they are the one on the ground doing the work day in, day out. So when an instruction or new SOP comes in, and if union feels or the worker feels that it is not practical, then they will report to us, they will report to union, and union will come back to us saying that, okay, this SOP doesn't make sense. So we have that discussion, either during that meeting I told you yang 1 meeting every quarter. Quarterly meeting, or we can have it ad hoc. If it's urgent, then we have to wait. Ad hoc also you can do it.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Right. In fact, Mr. Khairul, how does PLUS promote work-life balance among the employees?
Okay, work-life balance. This is where sometimes we do. There are a few ways. One of it is through, as I mentioned just now, our internal communication department. Yeah. Internal communication department, sometimes they will come up through our internal portal, internal portal, because all our staff will have internet access, will have their own email. Even if you're a frontliner, the most junior position, you will still have your own email. Then through that, we will share maybe not information, everything about work. You know, it's about, let's say, for example, now it's all on everything on pandemic. So maybe we will come up with announcement on how to manage stress at the workplace, how to manage working from home, how to manage the challenges. So it's not all about work. We try to balance it with real life issues to assist the staff to adjust to this new normal. Okay, that's one way. The other way, our internal comms team or internal communication and employee engagement, they also conduct a lot of internal activities. Yeah, internal activities that involve staff and HQ. All right, from the most basic thing, from the most interesting thing, macam Deepavali the other day. So we had a workshop on how to make murku, how to wear a sari, you know, things like that. So it's not, there are some fun things as well. It's not all about work. But that is done at HQ level. Yeah, HQ level, but we do open the door for our, what do you call this? Our colleagues from northern, southern, everywhere. But of course, the number is limited. So how do we address that? At every section, we have 3 regions. We have southern region, northern region, and central region. Okay? So for each region, they will have their own activities. That is catered for southern people, northern people, or central people. This has got nothing to do with HQ. So this is through their own initiative. Either they have their own fitness program, their Lawatan Sambil Belajar program, CSR program. So we have all that. All right.
Okay. All right. Next, go.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Wang. So my part is IR, industrial relation. So the first question is, what types of areas of CSR initiatives does your company practice?
Okay, actually number 52 and 53 and 54, that is not strictly under my department, because you're talking about CSR, normally that comes under our corporate communication department. But anyway, I can share, when it comes to our CSR initiative, our program is mostly tied up with engaging with the community. Yeah, engaging with the community, or engaging with the people near our plaza or our rest area. Okay, because when we have, what do you call this, when we have our exit route, whether in Tapah, Tangkak, Melaka, Seremban, or wherever it is, once the road is open there, so they will have a community in the nearby areas, right? So we do have a lot of engagement with those people, yeah, with the kampung people, because that is one way of us introducing ourselves, and to an extent that will also assist us in our operations, because you know the people in that area. All right, so it does help in that sense. And our CSR program, it's no different, I think, from most companies. Yeah, it's all about engaging with the people, as I mentioned, the community. Of course, there must not be any political leaning. Yeah, it has to be neutral. We are not attached to any political initiative or political parties. Ours is independent, of course, and also we have layers to check. Meaning to say, if we want to do a program for a particular welfare home, we will have to check whether that welfare home is legitimate. It has the approval of the relevant ministry, you know, all those things first. Okay.
How about the question 55? So, so how do you manage the staff conduct in the work?
Okay. When you talk about staff conduct, normally we will basically divide it into 2 types of misconduct. Okay, first you have your minor misconduct. Secondly, you have your major misconduct. Minor misconduct are just small misconduct. For example, you be a nuisance to your friend, you come late to work, or you are sleeping at your workplace. You know, these are small matters. Even I sleep at my workplace sometimes, especially after lunch. So those are all small matters. for minor misconduct, normally we allow it to be handled in-house by that department themselves, by the head themselves. Okay, because we want to project the image that the head of department should have control over his people. All right, so that is also one way of us saying that the staff should respect your boss. All right, so for small misconduct, you handle it in-house. But if you keep on repeating doing your small misconduct, okay, because we encourage for every small misconduct, once you reprimand your staff, always have a counseling session, record it somewhere on paper, yeah. But if the staff is recalcitrant and he keeps on doing the same, or he keeps on being a nuisance, okay, and then that particular issue can be passed on to my department, and then we take it up. So because minor misconduct, when you do it many times, it becomes major misconduct. Okay? Right, that is for minor misconduct. Secondly, you have the straightforward major misconduct. Things like falsifying MC, fraud, being insubordination, or being rude, failing to follow instruction of your boss, you know, sexual harassment, drugs. Those are serious cases. When it happens, it comes straight to my department. Okay. Now, if you ask me, what is the difference between minor misconduct and major misconduct? Why was the difference between department handle and what's the difference between I handle? When department handle, at most you will just get a reminder letter. Okay, it will not affect you greatly, just a reminder letter. But if the punishment comes from my side, if the action is done by me, then the punishment gets more severe. Either you get a warning letter, which is no bonus, or you may be demoted, or you may be suspended, or worst case, you may be dismissed. Because those serious punishment can only come from my side. Okay, so like I said just now, right? If it was an internal issue or just a reminder letter, okay, the department can handle it. But if keeps on issuing reminder letter, the guy doesn't improve, then all this reminder letter can translate into a warning letter.
Okay, and
yeah, we do have a code of conduct. We do have a plus code of conduct. In fact, our code of conduct into two. We have our internal code of conduct and we have our business code of conduct. Business code of conduct is for the people outside. When you want to deal with us, there are certain things you have to follow. Okay, you don't mind if I just add a little bit more. This may be relevant to your study. Like I said at the beginning, one of the catchphrase or one of the most important thing with Proton pula, sorry, itu lama punya company. One of the important thing with Plus is on this issue of integrity. All right, we are very strong on that. That is why recently we have been given the ISO 37001 certification from SIRIM. ISO 37001, which is the anti-bribery management system. So that particular acknowledgement by SIRIM basically says that our company takes integrity issues very seriously, and we have the relevant channels in terms of addressing integrity issues. Even for people outside working with us, integrity is important. So that is why things like no gift policy, you know, we enforce those things. Because previously, just to share with you all, our toll teller before, during Hari Raya or during Christmas or during Kongsi Fatchai or Deepavali, sometimes they get ampau from the road user. Now they are not allowed to accept anymore. I told them, unfortunately, you have to return back the ampau. Just take the packet only. Money give back.
So sad.
Very sad. Very sad. Even for people like me, well, I don't get the ampau, but I look forward every Kongsi Fatchai, I look forward to the box of oranges. Itu pun dah cannot now. No oranges. Everything you have to buy yourself. What to do? So basically, our company is now that we are very strong on integrity. Every new staff that comes in will have to go through an integrity training. The 2 workshops that I'm telling you I'm doing next week is on this integrity.
So I also saw that you have a whistleblower policy. I don't see many company actually has it. So can you just share slightly about that?
Okay. Whistleblower, conceptually, the only difference is that when you whistleblow, your identity is being kept confidential. All right? Okay. And normally whistleblowing relates to high profile cases. Let's say if you want to report your boss is stealing money or making false claim, tapi you takut. If you report, you're going to get into trouble. You know, your boss is going to get you or whatever it is, or your life is going to be hell in the office. So this is where sometimes you go through the whistleblowing channel, because the whistleblowing channel, one, it protects you. Your identity will be treated with high confidence. And secondly, the company will also protect you from any action being taken by those being reported towards you. Okay?
Okay.
For whistleblowing, we do not need for you to give your name or whatever it is, but we do encourage you to give your email or some special email that we can contact you for further information.
Okay. Does it also mean reporting someone's unethical behavior and also monetary issues as well?
Yes. Like I said, actually whistleblowing is just another channel. If you are the type of person who doesn't mind, you believe in the system, you want to report against your boss, you can come report to me straight. It's the same thing. But like I said, whistleblowing is just that it's of a higher level, because when you report whistleblowing, it goes straight to the board. The board will check, the board will evaluate, then the board will pass to whichever department. Because you pusing macam mana pun, you go through whichever channel, at the end of the day, the one taking action, the one investigating will be my department.
Understood.
So either you report to me straight or you go to the roundabout way, it comes back to me.
So can I also just check, that means you also may have experience, I don't know, investigating someone who is superior of your position, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But when you talk about investigation, there are limits, in the sense that in terms of my manpower limitation and my resources. If I need to go to the section office to really check the detail, to interview a lot of people, to check the documentation, to check the paper trail, normally that will be done by our audit team. Something like our present system, like if somebody complains, the police will do all the checking, then the police will do the investigation paper and pass it over to the AG, right? Attorneys General Chambers. So AG will then decide whether to sue in court or whatever it is. So something like that. Audit is the police. My side is more AG. I do the prosecution.
Okay.
So the next one is, have there the issues on harassment or workplace discrimination?
Discrimination. Okay, when you talk about discrimination based on religion or race, we don't have. But if you want to talk about harassment, sexual harassment based on sex between male and female, yes, we do have. Again, that is something that is very, in fact, sexual, since we are on the topic, sexual harassment is very important. Before, it did not get much attention, but now it is very, very important, to the point that if a lady or a male staff reports on harassment issue and the company fails to take any action, after 30 days, the company can be found guilty and can be fined. All right, so the law provides that. So harassment issue, sexual harassment issue especially, is very, very important. And we do have a few cases. And just to give you an understanding, when it comes to sexual harassment cases, more often than not, it will result in the guilty person being dismissed. If he is found guilty, he will be dismissed. But If he is not guilty, but we suspect that something may have been going on, the two person will be separated to different departments. Maknanya, meaning to say they can't work under the same department anymore.
Okay. Understand.
All right.
Yes. And do you have a domestic inquiry?
Oh, domestic inquiry.
Yeah.
It's spelled with an I actually, domestic inquiry. Yes, we do have domestic inquiry. Normally, okay, I mentioned just now for serious cases that I handle, they are all called major misconduct, correct? Okay. For major misconduct, there are some very straightforward. You look at the facts, you know, then you, based on whatever facts you have, yeah, then you present to management. Then management will decide. I only do recommendation. Okay, I will make a recommendation saying, okay, based on this facts, based on the misconduct, we hereby recommend a warning letter. So management, the disciplinary committee will decide, okay, we agree, or okay, we don't agree. If they don't agree, then they will suggest something else, whether a more serious punishment or a lesser punishment. Okay. But when you want to talk about managing the disciplinary procedure, I think there's a question on disciplinary procedure just now. At the end of the day, when you talk about HR, when you talk about this managing disciplinary procedure, you just hold on to two principles. One, there's one major principle, which is natural justice. And natural justice is divided into two aspects.
Hello? Hello?
I think, is Sir here? Okay, I think Mr. Cairo got disconnected. Let's just wait for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Mr. Cairo's line got disconnected. We just wait for a while, okay?
Okay, you guys, we wait.
Can you guys see the questions if I open like this?
Sorry.
Yes.
Sorry.
Okay.
You can see the questions, right?
Yes, we can see.
Okay, then I'll just leave it open like this. Okay, he's here already.
Okay, guys, I'm back. Sorry for that.
Hi, sir. Thank you for coming back.
Coming back to the explanation earlier, when it comes to disciplinary process, you just have to apply the principle of natural justice. Yeah, natural justice, one is that you must give them the opportunity to be heard. That's number one. And number two, the person who judge you must be somebody neutral, who does not have any conflict interest or does not have any interest in the matter. Yeah. So when we have a disciplinary case, what we do is we issue a show cause letter, and then they will reply. Okay. If the reply is straightforward and the facts of the matter is straightforward, then we will make the necessary paper and we will present it to the management, the disciplinary committee. Then the disciplinary committee will decide whether the recommendation, they agree or they don't agree with the recommendation given by my team. Okay. However, sometimes when we give a show cause letter, they reply, but their reply raises more questions. okay, and we feel that we need to know more in detail, that is where we call a domestic inquiry. Okay, a domestic inquiry is basically like a court, but an internal court. Meaning to say, I am the prosecuting officer, then you have the staff who is being accused, and the case is judged or the case is heard by 3 panel members. The 3 panel members must be someone neutral and somebody of the same position or higher position than the accused. Okay, so the purpose of the domestic inquiry is only to find whether the person is guilty or not guilty. That's it. Punishment, same thing. So if guilty, then I will do the necessary recommendation, present it to management. Then the management will decide on the punishment. So most probably, normally in cases where it involves forgery and whatnot, sometimes because when you talk about integrity issues, just for your information, yeah, things like forgery, false claim, those kind of misconduct are very serious, even if it is for 10 ringgit. If you are found guilty, then you will be dismissed. So in dismissal cases, more often than not, we will go through this domestic inquiry process. Because the domestic inquiry process is more detailed, because we allow him to call witnesses as well. Company can call witnesses, you also can call witnesses. It's like a court lah. So when the person is being dismissed, later sue the company for unfair dismissal, and then we can say lah, okay, we did go through the domestic inquiry, we did practice natural justice, we gave them the opportunity to explain himself, opportunity to defend, but yet he still is found guilty. What to do? Right? So that is the purpose of a domestic inquiry.
Understand.
It's not compulsory, but it is encouraged. Because show cause letter is also inquiry also. Because show cause letter also gives you the opportunity to explain, right? We give you a show cause letter, then you reply. If your reply is good, okay, let's settle. If it's not good, then we decide whether to go for DI or punish you straight.
Thank you, Mr. Wang. And in your working experience, what are the common issues of staff that affect their conduct at work?
Okay, common misconduct, I guess the very common one, the every day-to-day issue is coming late lah. People coming late and all that. So that's not really serious. But now that everybody is working from home, that problem not as much and not as serious. But if you want to ask me about serious misconduct, common serious misconduct, then it will be on false claim. False claim or false MC. They forge the medical certificate given by the clinic. All right. And at one time, sometime back, when Plus was operating manually, where you get your toll teller to collect money, the toll plaza at the toll plaza. During that period, theft was a big issue because they manipulate the system, so the money they put into their own pocket at that time. But now that everything is online, everything just through system, that has been addressed hugely. But we still get some issues on claims because some of our claim is done manually. Sorry, it's done through the system on a reimbursable basis. Meaning to say you pay first, then you get company to repay you back. So in those situations, sometimes when you pay first, but the receipt that you submit to get back the money from the company, you use some, forged receipt and you increase the amount or something like that lah. So that happens.
So what is employees?
Sorry?
So, Mr. Wang, can you see the question 59?
59.
Yeah. What are the common issues brought by employees?
Common issue, I guess, again, it depends on the frontliners. Their issue is more on the SOP, the procedures. Yeah, they feel that sometimes the procedure is not practical. The procedure is unfair to them. because they feel that the process is very difficult for them to apply, you know, while working at the plaza. But for the office staff, the issue is more on what do you call this? On their relationship with their bosses lah. They feel that their boss is not understanding. Their boss is very suppressing. The boss doesn't give them respect. So in those situations, normally, more often than not, it is more of a personality issue. Okay, because some people are so hypersensitive. Some people are just rude. So in those situations, normally we will just call the parties involved and have a face-to-face discussion to sort it out lah. There's one point, I am not sure where you can fit this in your paper about performance management, this thing called PIP, because it's in the title, but I think I've not explained it. PIP, okay, this is one of the ways where we show that the company is serious about improving the staff. Remember, I told you, you have your PMS, performance appraisal. Okay, you have the rating. Let's say you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rating. 5 is superstar. 1 is a non-performer. 3, you just meet target. So in some companies, when you are rated below target, meaning to say if you get rating 1 or 2, then you are considered a non-performer. Okay. In plus, if you are a non-performer, you will not be dismissed. You will not be punished per se, but of course you will not get your increment and you will not get bonus. That's one thing lah. But do we just leave it like that? No. What we do is we put the staff through this program called a performance improvement plan. The whole idea of a PIP is to close the gap or to improve the staff for the during the PIP process. There is a time period lah. For example, let's say if we allow you we give you 6 months. So within the 6 months, you must show to your superior, you must show to the company that you can close the gap, you can meet target, you can actually perform. Okay, so if you perform, then okay, you'll be taken out of that PIP, then you will just work normally. Okay, you need to understand the concept of PIP. PIP, when you are put under PIP, does not mean that you will be asked to do different things, more work. It's not. You still do your day-to-day job. The only difference is that if you are not under PIP, like you and me, we work every day, we just work. At the end of the year, we do our appraisal, that's it. But for a person under PIP, during that 6 months, there must be a very close supervision. So meaning to say, you will have a periodical session with your boss. Every 1 month, the boss will check, are you on track? Every 2 months, check, on track. So there is a very close supervision. All right, so that's the difference between a PIP and a normal staff. But the problem with the only issue with PIP, if at the end of the 6 months, you are still found to be below target, meaning to say you have still not improved, you are still lacking in a lot of areas. The company has the right to terminate your employment. So at the end of 6 months, if you don't improve, the company can terminate your employment on the grounds of non-performance. Okay, maybe you may ask me, hey, that's not fair. But my response to that is, when I enter into an employment contract with you, your agreement is that, my agreement is that I pay you salary 5,000 ringgit. Your agreement is that with that salary 5,000 ringgit, I will do A, B, C, D, E. But if you fail to do your A, B, C, D, E, after your PIP for 6 months still fail to do the A, B, C, D, E, why should I be paying you 5,000 ringgit? All right. So because of that, a person can be terminated because of non-performance, but he must go through that PIP process first.
So, Mr. Carol, just to check, so during the PIP, there wouldn't be any reduction in salary and anything. It is just extra support so that you can close the gap and meet the requirements, the performance requirement. Okay.
The only punishment, I mean, if you can call it a punishment, because when bonus is announced or increment is announced, probably since you are an underperformer, you don't get as much or you don't get anything at all. That's it.
Okay, I think it's very fair.
It's very fair lah, kan? Yep.
At least they keep you on the job, correct? Because performance is actually on you. As much as the company can support is actually your accountability, because you are getting paid for the job that you do.
Correct. But again, sometimes for us, like I say lah, macam I mentioned you all earlier, macam things like drugs and everything, you found guilty, you will be dismissed straight away. But when you want to talk about performance misconduct, this is considered as misconduct as well. But when you talk about performance misconduct, the issue here is not so much your behavior. You know, when things like you are caught smoking, you're taking drugs, sexual harassment, those are behaviors, something that you choose to do. But when you talk about performance, it is not behavior, it is more on ability. Sometimes staff just take a bit more time to understand. Sometimes staff are good at talking, but they're not good at writing. Some staff, they're good at writing, but they're not good at talking. So that is why when it comes to performance, which is more on capability, ability, that's why we don't immediately punish you. We put you through this program first, the PIP program, to try to put you back on track. But if after 6 months, still no improvement, then I'm sorry, you have not met target, then I will have to let you go.
So Mr. Cairo, during the PIP program, is it only close supervision, or the employee is given the chance, the opportunity to attend training and all?
Yes, that is the whole idea. Let's say if my program, let's say my problem is in terms of my report writing. One of the reasons why I got my low rating the year before is because my report writing very loose, a lot of mistakes and things like that, right? So that is my gap. So how does the boss address the gap? If the boss can just give through training, hands-on training, fine. But sometimes the boss feels that, oh, this guy needs to go for an external training, then you go through the external training. This is again that question of, at the end of the year, the boss will understand the staff and already apply for request for certain form of training to be applied by that staff next year.
Okay, so I think we are towards the end of the session. So very briefly, maybe you can just run through a few the key questions to us. So basically, the best practice of HR, which is a plus signature. You have mentioned quite much on integrity. Is that one of your signature best practice?
Yes, one of our best practices is integrity. And another thing I would say, this is to the company in general, that we are trying now to inculcate this, the core values, as I mentioned just now, the core values, but also not to take it as core values as something that you are forced to do it. Core values, we want to make it in such a way that this is part and parcel of your life, even outside office. You know, the togetherness, transparency, helping each other, taking ownership of your work. You know, it applies in the office and also outside of the office. And the other thing, I guess, the good thing about my company is that we are quite open, in the sense that even our managing director and our C-suites, don't mind guys, I take about another 10 minutes of your time.
Okay,
no problem, sir.
Because saya cuti today, Selangor tak kerja, so I'm at home doing nothing. So rather than sleeping, at least I do this. Okay. So where was I again? Yeah. Okay. The management is quite accessible. For your information, one of the initiative, this is also to balance out with this work-life balance thing. We have this session called Let's Talk. Okay. Let's Talk is when we do it online, of course, where our C-suite doesn't matter CPO, COO or COO, CFO, they will take turns, and then they will be an audience of maybe about 40 staff from all over Malaysia, north to south. CSA ke, frontline ke, executive, doesn't matter. It's on a first come first serve basis, where they will have a very open 1 hour session, where all the C-suites will explain where the company is financially, where is our direction, to share with the staff. And during that opportunity also, the staff are encouraged to be transparent and open. Things like the other day, some of them were even asking straightforward. They ask, Dato', tak ada increment ke tahun ni? So Dato' had to tell them direct to their face. No, unfortunately, because revenue is bad, no increment this year. There wasn't Dato', I think one of the other C-suites. But that's the thing, we do encourage openness in that sense from management and staff, because we want to close the gap. Like I told you, 70% of our employees are our support staff, right? So, and especially the nature is we are scattered. People in Johor, people in Kedah, or people in Penang, which HQ, sometimes you don't get much access. All right. If your office staff is okay, sometimes you have a meeting here and whatnot. But if you are the CSA, the Plus Ronda, you are way there. I mean, what's the reason of you to come all the way to KL or to PJ? So this is where we try and close the gap by having all these Let's Chats sessions and whatnot. Okay. Nanti, hold on. Yeah, I think there's one question on number 60. How does the termination process conducted by the company? Termination program is the termination process is as per the employment letter. Okay. Non-confirmed staff under probation, sometimes is anywhere between 1 month to 2 weeks. For confirmed staff, it's normally up to 3 months. So you have to give your notice period of 3 months, or 1 month or 2 weeks, depending on your employment status and your employment terms. However, if you want to ask for early release, maybe the new company wants to take you faster and whatnot, 2 things can happen. Either you have to pay off whatever short notice that you give. You pay off the amount is whatever salary that you earn. If you only serve 1 month notice, then you have to pay back 2 months salary. Right? Or the other reason, if you want to leave early, you can get early release from your boss. You have to request from your boss. If your boss allows it, so be it lah, no problem. But when you want to talk about termination, that is termination/resignation. But if you want to talk about termination in terms of medical reason ataupun non-performance, like I told you just now, right? Medical or non-performance, termination of their employment applies the same rule as resignation. So you still have to give the 3 months notice and whatnot. So if you ask me, if that person is already a non-performer, if that person is already sick, you want to terminate because of health matters, you don't expect that person to work for 3 months, correct? Yes. So in situations like that, normally we give them 24-hour notice, but the company will pay the 3 month salary. All right, that is for non-performance and what do you call it? Sakit, health issues. But if the termination is due to misconduct, right? Either after DI or right after reply letter, recommend to management agree, okay, this guy is to be terminated. Those scenarios, termination will be done within 24 hours. No notice, nothing. We give you a letter today, tomorrow you are out of a job.
Sir, can I just check, you said for medical reason, okay, I understand the company can terminate you 24 hours and maybe with 3 months salary, but for non-performance also, the company still give them?
Non-performance and medical, we still follow the notice period.
Okay, and if you want to terminate them early, the company will actually pay off in lieu.
Correct. The reason is
Okay,
because, like I said, macam tadi lah. I mean, if you want to talk about medical reasons, it's not a choice. You know, you don't ask to be sick. So due to circumstances like that, we pay notice. Like performance, again, it is not your fault. I mean, as much as possible, you want the job, but it's just that for whatever reason, you cannot perform. So again, it is more ability. Therefore, we do have a bit of compassion there. We do pay your notice period. But if it is misconduct, that is conduct. You purposely find trouble. In situations like that, goodbye, take care. That's it. 24 hours.
In situation like resignation, do Plus provide a career comeback policy?
Okay.
Resign.
I know. Sometimes, okay. We don't have a policy, written policy on this, but normally we do give a cooling off period or maybe 1 or 2 years lah. But
is that considered sabbatical leave, sir? No, it's not.
No. Sabbatical leave is when you apply for sabbatical leave. For example, belajar ke, want to join the husband or wife, go somewhere, that's sabbatical leave. You are still an employee.
That one can keep back.
Yang itu tak ada masalah because you are still an employee. There is still a connection between you and the staff. But when you resign, once you are already taken off from our employee list, our head count, but you want to come back later, then that one is strictly on management's decision whether to allow you or not. But just for your knowledge, you have sometimes in some agreements, they say that, okay, we accept your resignation, but you are not to join any of our competitors. You know, for your information, this is just general knowledge, that is against the law. You cannot stop a person from joining whoever he wants to join. But if you want to protect yourself, what you can do is at the beginning, which is standard in all agreements, employment terms, when you join a company, you're supposed to sign a non-disclosure agreement, NDA, or confidentiality agreement. So whatever new information or whatever, macam especially Plus, our technology in terms of our RFID or whatever, you know, face recognition system or whatnot. So when you are part of that team, since you have already signed that agreement, once you join a rival, maybe whatever lah, or Lekas or Lata or whatever other highways, then because of you signing that agreement, you cannot share that input with the rivals. If you do it, then that's against the law. Action can be taken against you like in court. All right, so you cannot stop a person from joining a rival. Okay, any other HR related question which I can help you guys with, which is not in this list?
Mr. Karo, Plus have any benchmarking from international? Because
no, unfortunately we don't. Locally definitely tak ada because people look at us for direction because we are the biggest concession. But in general, overseas we just use as guidance because again the system, the culture, everything is different. So maybe if something that they do, for example, face recognition, that system is available in Germany, for example. You know, from just they go through the toll, they can see the face, they can capture the plate number, and it goes online if this is a repeat offender and whatnot. So you know such system is available. So what Plus can do is try to develop something similar. Allow to use as guidance, we can.
So as a conclusion question, so you have been very long in this field. What do you think is actually the major challenges and for us, the upcoming, hopefully the HR professionals one day in about 2 years time, what's your advice for us when we join this role?
The problem with human resource nowadays, there's quite a few actually. First and foremost is the mindset of people towards HR. Okay, normally HR is looked at as the bad guy. Okay, you have any problem with tak naik gaji, no promotion, no increment, nothing, salah HR. Every damn thing is salah HR. Sometimes HR has got nothing to do with it. HR creates the policy, HR gives guidance, HR manages it. But normally the decision making is not HR. It is up to the respective department. So sometimes, but the problem is HR pun, they are not projecting themselves as a friendly department. That's another issue. So that would be the first issue for me, is to change the mindset of people towards HR, whereby HR does not work for you, HR works with you. So HR is here to facilitate, to assist, not that HR is here to follow whatever you say. You see, okay, so that's one, the changing of the mindset. And on that note, although I blame the staff, I also blame HR juga. Some HR, sometimes they are very strict. They are not flexible, especially as where we discussed earlier just now on work-life balance. It's not all about work. Yeah, it's not everything about 9 to 5, 9 to 5. Sometimes people it doesn't matter how many hours you put in, as long as you deliver. And see, that's the new mindset you have to change. That's number one. Number two, I think one of the biggest challenges that HR is facing is coming up with a policy or approach that can balance the two type of generation that you are having. Because as things stands now, most companies are still being led by the baby boomers and the generation X, right? Generation X and the baby boomers. But the workforce now are more from the generation Y and the generation Z or Alpha, or I can't remember whatever you call this in the generation, the younger generation. So during the baby boomers period, I'm not baby boomer for information, I'm still in the generation X category, okay? For the baby boomers and the generation X, for them, loyalty is key. The company can screw up, the boss can screw up, never mind, I'm loyal to the company, I'll stay till the end. But for the generation Y and the current generation, better offer comes, hook, they hilang. In an instant, they go. So for them, it's not all about work. For them, it's more of the work-life balance. Why do I need to come to work for 8 hours when I can finish this in 1 hour? You know, they are thinking, especially now with all this system online and HR 4.0, industrial 4.0, whatever it is. You see? So when you have a company who still works on this old school mindset, where your people are all the new school mindset, it's difficult. Personally, I can share you one experience is about this working from home policy. Okay, I was put, this one you just put it in general, don't quote me.
Okay, sir.
I don't want to get into trouble, okay?
Sure,
because,
sure.
okay, I was in charge of coming up with this work from home policy. So we prepared a very detailed policy, blah, 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 and everything, because we felt that at the end of, since March until today, people are already working from home. Yeah. The only difference is that it is very loose. Every department is given their way of managing it. So we came up with a standardized policy on what it means to be working from home in terms of expectations, working hours, how you do your holidays, the do's and the don'ts, everything. It's very detailed. All right. So management was okay, presented to our board, but when our board got that information, they felt that we are not ready because they feel that it's very difficult to manage staff offline. I mean, remotely, it's very difficult to manage your staff in terms of the, what do you call this, productivity and whatnot. So there already you can see, the younger generation are happy with this work from home arrangement. But the senior generation, we worry that they may abuse this. So that meeting point in the middle is still lacking. All right, as also I mentioned just now, to them, loyalty is not important. It's how you balance the work-life balance thing, which is going to make your company attractive. So from the HR perspective, Yoga, to your question, that would be number 2. How to come to a meeting point between management and staff when the two are represented by entirely different generation with different expectations.
Correct. Because one, you are also an employer Correct. One is your paymaster, and the other one is sort of they see you as as the fighter for them, or the right person for them. So one group see you as a leader, and another one is your paymaster. Definitely, it's a very difficult balance.
I can give you one very close to home example. My department. Okay, I'm a very easygoing kind of guy. I'm not your normal IR fella. I'm not the type with the cane punishing everybody left, right, center. To me, if you come late 1-2 minutes, you don't die. You won't die. Okay, the company will not go bankrupt. So to me, it's not such a big issue. And I'm very open door. Even if I talk to my staff, or even I'm the boss where people ajak pergi makan. That kind of guy lah. You know, a very, very chill sort of person. But there are some people who are not happy with my way of doing work because they feel an IR guy needs to be very fierce. When I see your face, terus saya takut, terus diam, terus tutup, terus pandang bawah, malu or whatever, in fear of me. Oh, IR coming, we have to work. That shouldn't be the way. I mean, if you do IR in that way, you are enforcing your role out of fear instead of respect. You see, so that is another example. It's like people are so the expectation is that IR needs to be serious. Why? So you have to change that mindset. The mindset shift is a challenge, a challenge.
Correct. It's no more the headmaster role, because to relate with you, sometimes I go to school and I see those days people are very scared of the headmaster. Now children actually there was this thing to share. Yeah, there was this thing to share. The headmaster was giving speech and they were saying that the headmaster is speaking for 1 hour. It's very boring. So yeah.
And
it won't work anymore.
You can also see in some companies, I've been to some companies, more of the international companies lah. When you go to their office, they don't have all this room, pangkat, nothing. At the end of the day, you are differentiated by your gaji, your salary. But you all sit together, a common table, that's it. But some companies still, hierarchy is very important. Office is very important. Clerk will have a cubicle this size. Executive, slightly higher partition. Bosses in their respective room. Okay, so we want to move towards modernization, work-life balance, all these things we have to change. But of course, it cannot be done overnight.
So about the work from home, just to touch that. So when it happens to be a deadlock, what actually happens? Do you still have to just unfortunately you will have to comply to the management, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
What's the question? If there's a deadlock?
The question was like the work from home policy that you were saying, and so the employees were correct.
Okay, for now, what we do is status quo. So the policy is not put into effect, but whatever that is being practiced now, we leave it to the head of department, and all that still continues like normal.
Okay.
It's just that we don't make it definite. Because what we are proposing, me and my team, we were proposing is that when we have the work from home, you only have two choices. Either you work in the office or work from home. If you work from home, that's it for the rest of your life until you pension, until you retire. If you work from office, until the rest of your life until you retire. So for those people who work from home, you will no more have an office space. So when you come to work, probably there is one corner of the office that we have a common area. That will be your working area. And if you decide suddenly for whatever reason to come back, you must give the company 6 months notice, or for example, that you now want to work in the office or you now want to work from home. 6 months notice, right? So that was why what I mean by saying that we want to make it definite. But management says, no, not ready. So just carry on, live with whatever we are doing lah. You come to office anytime you want. You work from home anytime you want.
Okay, understood.
Yep.
Anyone else have any other questions?
Any other question? Question about your kids or your friends? Any working problem or being abused by the boss? What can you do? What is your right? Feel free to ask anytime. Anyway, yoga pun you have my email. Any one of you, if you have any work-related issues, please feel free to ask. No problem.
I don't have any question, Mr. Karo, but I learned very much today because I'm from government sector.
Yeah.
And I very love to hear about the termination regarding on non-performance and medical medical part, because I responsible to do that also in my job before.
I see. Okay.
There is difference between government and private.
I know, because my wife works with the government as well, and sometimes government punya cara ni macam pelik sikit. But then again, different people, a different sector will have different way of doing things. But all I can say is, remember when you want to punish something, again, if it's due to medical reasons and due to performance, it is not done on purpose. Yes. Therefore, it shouldn't be seen as a punishment. That is why you can terminate, because to be fair to the company, you have to be fair both sides, right? Yes. You can terminate. It is fair for you to terminate, but at least pay the notice period.
But for the government, it's benefit for them, because for the non-performance and for medical reason, they got pension after they get the later.
Probably. Yes, because you guys, you have your pension kan. We don't have pension, but what we do have is for those who are terminated due to medical reasons, we do have some sort of compensation amount lah.
Yes.
Compensation amount, but that is up to the management. It's up to the management on the amount of compensation to be paid. Yeah.
So I think that's all from all of us. Before we answer, thank you so much, so much. We really learned so much, and education can only give us that much, but it is actually the real practitioners that actually can tell us what the reality is.
Sir, I do apologize that some of the questions I couldn't answer. I can goreng, but if I goreng, then I give you the wrong answer. So it's very dangerous. So I think I better not goreng lah.
We understand. You cannot be a 5-man show. We truly understand that, sir. Sir, we understand that PLAS doesn't accept gift policy, but as an appreciation, we wanted to sort of email you a e-voucher. Will you kind-heartedly accept that, or?
No problem. Because to be honest with you, this I'm doing on my own. This has got nothing to do with the company. It's just that, hey, whatever paper you guys, will it be presented as PLAS or whatever to the public? No, and it's just for your education purposes, right?
Yes.
No, sir. It will be just only for the class assignment.
Okay, all right. Because I'm just doing this as a favor to yoga lah. That's about it. Don't have to give me anything, but if you feel that you want to give as a token of appreciation, nak bagi kereta rumah pun boleh, no problem. Just kidding. No problem.
Well, we can be active touch and go user, but it won't go to you though. we are just waiting to travel.
Yes. Please use all our touch and goes. Please use all our highways. We need the money now. Please. All right.
Sure. I think everybody is just waiting. So will it be okay for me to email you, or maybe you want to give me your private email? You can text me.
Emma, you can use the same email that I gave you. No problem. Shouldn't be a problem.
Okay, I will send it to you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much for your time.
All the best with your studies and whatever qualification that you guys are doing. All the best. All right.
Thank you.
My apologies.
Thank you.
Yeah. Sorry?
Can we have a photo session?
I don't know how we actually have a photo session here. Erda, can you see everyone?
Yes, but I cannot see you.
Oh, okay, sorry, because my camera is not on. Oops. Okay, yeah, I think now.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Everybody is on.
Safina. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Again, 1.
All right.
3. Okay.
All right.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
All right, no problem. Take care.
Thank you,
Stay
sir.
safe. Okay, bye.
Thank you.
Yoga pun hilang ke? Yoga pun dismiss Yoga dismiss juga.
Hi guys. Yoga left.
Yoga not here.
Okay, lunchtime.
Oh, maybe lunchtime. Okay, maybe after this we discuss at WhatsApp group how to divide the report.
Yes.
Okay.
Lunch first.
Okay, lunch first. Okay, happy lunch, guys.
Bye-bye.